I have an article here from the direct.com. We put out a banger. Marvel shocked by Ant-Man 3's negative reviews. Joanna Robinson, co-author of MCU The Reign of Marvel Studios, recently discussed how Ant-Man 3 was perceived as a home run by Marvel before it debuted. I guess technically Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, but Ant-Man 3 is just easier to say. Most would agree that the third film of the Ant-Man franchise had a lot of issues. Sure did. It lacked the size-changing charm of the first two. It kept the series' titular couple of Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne separate, and it presented special effects that could be described as substandard. Box office returns for Ant-Man 3 reflected its dismal reception and contributed to the notion among fans that MCU has lost a step. Or several. However, they thought it was gold, I guess. Insider, blah blah blah, she talks about it, here we go. Marvel Studios is aware of what's happening to their brand. My understanding, having talked to some people, is that Quantumania really shook them. And I'm sure Secret Invasion shook them further. But Quantumania really shook them because they felt like they had something good. Because they all eternally thought, everyone's going to love this. Of course, as she explained, the sentiment did not prove true. Quantumania was met with highly negative reviews and suffered one of the worst 2-week box office drops in superhero movie history. Then they put it out, people didn't, and they were like, oh no, our internal barometer is not attuned to what people want anymore. Quantumania, they were like, we put out a banger. And that's not how a lot of people felt. No surprise. Then he goes on and talks about recent releases that Marvel Studios shaken. Because after Endgame, basically it's gone down. I mean, like Thor 4, the Falcon and Winter Soldier series and stuff. Then they start talking about Phase 4, blah blah blah. Then they also talk about the Daredevil series has been basically just thrown to the side, and they're starting all over again. Whatever they've got started is just done. They got a link to that story here if you want to read it and stuff, but that's basically the entire article essentially. But with the Daredevil stuff, it was so bad that apparently they're scrapping the whole thing and they're starting all over again. Because one of the rumors is that that Charlie Cox, Daredevil, Matt Murdock, doesn't even put on the Daredevil suit until episode 4, which is like, it would be really hard to do that without making that series incredibly boring, which would fit right in with what they've been doing. But then, what's also kind of funny about that, though, is you got people saying, well, bring out the people, or bring back the people who did the Netflix series. The Netflix series was good, was a hell of a lot better than this stuff, but it had its flaws. Like people forget that, because I remember, I'm sure you guys watching, if you're watching, I'm sure you remember, there was a lot of complaints and stuff. Now, Daredevil was no question the best of the Netflix shows, but they all suffered from the whole, like, the whole binge watching thing. There's no reason to make episode 4 interesting, because, people can just watch episode 5 right away. That kind of stuff, which never makes for good TV, at least in my opinion. That's a topic for another day, though. I've already gone 3 minutes on this. I'll link this in the description box. You can read it for yourself. They've got links to all kinds of various things and stuff. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.